This is Straight Up with Toby Martini. I am Toby Martini, and on this show, we talk about a few different things. What it's like to be an entrepreneur, how do you be in business today? Sometimes the psychology of what's behind it. How do you be successful? How do you make more money? Let's go find out. So love that song, Joe Satriani. It's a shame that's going to go away. Hi, this is Toby Martini. Welcome to the big show. It's Straight Up with Toby Martini. Oh, I also have something sticking me in the eye. How fantastic is that?
That's no good.
It's not good. Thank you, Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris is here for the day.
Hey.
Hey. Oh, we sound like a morning show. Hey.
That's my Gary impression, actually.
Hey. Hey. Welcome to the Q Morning Zoo. We're going to do the drive today.
Nice.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about a couple of different things. And I'm waving at people in the studio. For those of you who aren't listening, hi. Who are listening, you can't see that I'm waving. It doesn't matter anyway. So one of the things I want to talk about is the energy you bring. And I think I mentioned it a little bit either a week or two ago. I was talking about just that when you go networking is basically the start of this whole thing. But anything in your business, when you're starting your day, when you first see customers, anytime you talk to anybody, really, in your whole life, right? I want you to be aware of the energy that you bring. I have a coaching client right now who is also a Toastmaster. It's in my Toastmasters club. And she has done only a couple of speeches, and she's winning contests. And the why of it is, and I didn't give this to her, she was already kind of energetic. But for speaking, right, for public speaking to crowds, speaking to groups, the way you deliver your message, the energy you bring is actually almost more important than the content that you have. And I'm not saying, talk about garbage. I do want people to carry good content, but if it's boring, if it's slow, if it's monotone and people are bored, they're not going to hear your great content. They're going to tune you right out, right? So the same thing works for if you go networking. You're going to go networking, go into a group. Even if you had a terrible day, you lost money, you got in a car wreck on the way, a little fender bender, somebody cut you off or, something like that, your feet hurt. Somebody goes, hey, how you doing? Do not tell them those things. Do not lead with the horror of your life. Do not give me a litany of bad things that are going on around you. It is a terrible way to start, right? I'm not saying be fake. I'm not saying be something that you're not. But what you lead with will color that whole conversation. And do you want to really get known as somebody who's a complainer, a whiner, dragging around like that, an energy vampire? Of course not. So even if you had that bad day, pump it up, right? Smile, fake, I get it. Smile until your face actually feels like smiling. Laugh out loud in your car if you have to, until you feel a little better, and then bring that in. And the thing is, when people go, how's your day? Don't say the 5 things that went wrong. Tell me one good thing that happened to you today. Lead with that one good thing that happened. Okay? As we talk, we get deeper into it, you can share a problem you had, or that other stuff can come up. I'm just telling you, don't lead with it. It's really important. Because it's kind of a neuroscience thing. And it sounds so simple when I say it at first. Your brain does what you tell it to, right? Your brain seeks evidence for what you believe is so. Yeah? And so if you are on this trap, and I'll say it's a trap, of telling me the bad things that happened, say, oh, I got to tell you this bad thing that happened. Your brain goes, oh, yeah, bad things. What else happened that was bad? And it starts giving you more of them. And the next thing you know, you hate your life because everything's terrible.
And then you're jumping off the bridge.
And then you're jumping off a bridge, right? Which might be the best thing to happen to you all day. But, it's that. So you're looking for it, so you find that. I'm going to give you an example and then tell you the opposite. The example is, and I even think I've done this on the show, but my middle son would come home from school when he first started going to first grade. And he'd come home and he'd go, literally, his first day or two, he'd go, Dad, you want to know what bad happened to me today? So the first time I go, okay, you can tell me. Right? But then I realized that was going to be his thing. He came home second, third day. You want to know what bad happened to me today? I go, nope. And he's like, huh? I go, look, I love you, bud, but I'm not going to listen to you just complain about all the bad things that happened to you today.
Because there's a fine line between venting and then dwelling.
Yeah, well, you don't, but if you go looking for bad things, you'll find more bad things.
Right.
Yeah? And so I told him, you can tell me literally anything you want, good or bad, as many as you want. My only rule is you have to lead with a good one. Tell me one good thing that happened today, and then you can say whatever else you like. So what happens is, over time, it takes a little while to make that happen. What happens is he comes home and goes, Dad, let me tell you what happened today. I got an A on this test. Teacher said I did good at this, and, whatever. Bob and I built a castle, whatever. And then he might go, I was kind of mad at John because he took my biscuit at lunch, right? I'm just making up something. But the thing is now, he used to give me 4 or 5 bad things that happened in his day. Now he gives me 4 or 5 good and maybe 1 bad, right? Again, your brain does what you ask it to. So he says, he might be sitting in the car, as my wife brings him home going, I'm going to tell Dad these 5 bad things that happened. Oh yeah, I have to say something good. What was good? And his brain gives him a good thing. And because it's looking for good things, it finds another good thing and finds another good thing.
And he gets out of that mindset.
And he's out of the mindset because now he's told his brain, give me a good thing. Now his brain wants to give him good things. So he forgets the bad things, right? And I get, you're an adult. You're not a 6-year-old child. You're not an 8-year-old child. It's not going to work that way for you. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It does. Your brain does what you tell it to. So no matter how bad those things went for you, this went bad and that went bad, when somebody goes, how was your day? Tell us the one good thing that happened, and then your brain will give you more good things that happened. It will, I promise, right? And you can still share the thing that needs fixing, but what happens then is the stuff that's bad, it's not just bad in your venting. It's, I have a problem, let's look for a solution.
Right.
Right? Something went wrong today, how can I help with that? Okay, cool. But if you just want to bitch and complain because you got cut off on the way here today, nothing I can do about that, I don't want to hear about it. Those of you who are watching on video, I'm annoyed to death with something in my eye. If you're not on video, you can't even hear it. I shouldn't have mentioned it. Ah! I've got a... But
now you know.
Now you know. Toby has something wrong with his eye. It's very annoying. So this is part of the energy brain, right? Definitely. Trust me, if you ever have to speak in front of a group, you better get your energy up first. You don't have to be giant and big and jumping around, Richard Simmons or even Tony Robbins or me. But... you do have to get out of a mellow state, right? But you're going to go networking, any sort of business, you're going to go on a sales call or whatever, you had better be leading. Lead with something good. And it kind of points to fake it till you make it, which I'm sad that means something kind of bad nowadays. Because the truth is, I'm not telling you to fake it with other people in any way. I'm telling you to fake your brain out, right? You're smiling for no reason. Sooner or later, your brain goes, well, we're smiling. Release the chemicals, right? And then you're really smiling. Lead with the good thing forces you to come up with some good things.
Well, and also others around you will feed off of that as well.
Yeah.
Because it's like, when you smile, it makes others want to smile too. It's contagious.
The whole world smiles with you. There's
exactly.
a song.
Yeah.
No. But it's true. But both ways, it's contagious, right? If I come in grumpy and mad because I got cut off by someone in the way here, and now I start telling you the story, there's a couple of things that happens. One, I actually get in that same state I was. Right. I'm enraged. I'm pissed off. Because I'm telling you the story. Now I'm reliving it. But then you probably jump in and go, oh my God, yeah, I got cut off by a guy too. Now you tell me a bad story. Now we're feeding off each other's bad energy. You're mad. I'm mad. Life sucks. Stop it. Right?
Let's go get drunk.
Yeah, let's get drunk. Yeah, and then that's just what you need to be at the networking event, doing shots, and because then I think you're a great business person. Yeah, right?
Hey, man, here's my business card.
Go away, dude. Yeah. Right? So you're responsible for the energy you bring into a room. This isn't woo-woo, new age, something like that. I hope that you don't think it is. It's really, what do I say? What you say is what you get, right? And that's kind of how your brain works. So if you start with a good one, everything will go better, I promise. And that's kind of the juice of it. That's the big part, right? And people ignore it, or they just don't know, or you're not aware that has those effects. So hopefully you're aware. Hopefully you practice that. Write it down. Like if this is the first time you've heard that, go write it down. So the next time you go out, you can have it in front of you and go, oh yeah, at the last minute, lead with something good, right? And you will remember then. Because right now, if it's the first time you've ever heard it, you go, wow, that's a great idea. I'll do that. But since it's not your normal thing, when you go out, you'll forget. So put it in, write it down, do that now, right? What time we got? 3:13, couple minutes, right, Chris?
Yeah, we got a few minutes.
Yeah, a few minutes. So that energy thing is, I'm just going to go off what Chris said there, is it's contagious, right? Because I will tell you, if I go to a networking thing and somebody comes up to me and they go, oh my God, business is tough, I'm going to smile and nod. I'm going to try maybe, because I do care and I like people, I might try a thing or two to turn them around, give them a perspective to make them happy or remind them of something joyous. If they don't turn around, I'm not sticking in that conversation because I don't need that contagious, right? I don't need that energy vampire thing. I don't need that being brought down, right? Some people go, but you're not being realistic. Sometimes bad things happen. I get it, but I'm not going to wear it on my face. Right? I'm not going to put a big sign. I'm not going to wear a shirt that goes, today sucks, don't talk to me, So it is contagious. And when people go to a networking event, or when they leave one and they go, that was such a great event. Why was that? Yeah. At all events, you meet people, right? A great event is when you meet a lot of people who are high energy, who are feeling good, right? You leave an event going, that was good only because of the energy, right? And if you say, well, I got my energy because I got 3 referrals and I'm going to get work out of it. Yeah, that's energy too, right? You're happy, right? You're bringing
something
the energy.
Something good happened.
Yeah, something great happened but the thing is that you're energetic about it.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's just, it is a little bit, now I do lean to the little bit of woo-woo, new age, crystal-y thing it is kind of quantum physics. There's this metaphysical thing that energy is literally contagious, right? We are connecting outside of our words. We're literally connecting energetic fields and such. So that's for another show. Does Mama J talk about that kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah, she does all the time.
Right.
So we'll probably talk more about it tonight, too.
All right.
On her other show.
So it's a thing. If you don't believe it's magic, you don't believe it's woo, you don't believe in crystals, that's cool. Trust me. Trick your brain. Lead with something good, you'll come up with more. So we're going to do something different. Normally I kind of do sponsors at the beginning, but we're going to let Chris tell you about the sponsors while I type up a little something here. I'm going to send a mean email to someone. No, I'm not. So, Chris, tell us about our sponsors, please.
All right. Well, Straight Up with Toby Martini is brought to you by New Urban Suites. New Urban Suites is a wonderful building down in Ybor City where they can provide you with a great office space so they can get you out of the house and get you out of your underwear and into a nice suit or into a nice polo and whatnot. But you can get some great office space there. They're very green, even though it's a white building, as Toby has said many times. Check them out at neurbansuites.com. Also, we have SCORE Pinellas. It's a great organization that will give you consultation for your business. If you're starting a new business, if you've already started a new business and you just want to get some more advice concerning whatever it is you need to do, tax information, whatever the case may be. It's all free. You can check that out at www.pinellascounty.score.org. That's SCORE Pinellas. Back to you, Toby Martini.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's and I'm not actually. Let me go back. I'm not sure it's www for them. I think it's just pinellascounty.score.org.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure we get that.
For those of you who are watching, you can see that on the screen. That's all very good. So the second half of this today, it's completely different than the first half. It just came out of a conversation I just had with someone a few minutes ago. Alex, who runs the studio here, we were talking about about networking because he's become a networking maven recently. He's going to all these events and meeting a lot of people, and it's great. Go network, right? If you don't do that where you live, you should be doing that. We were talking about how he was meeting a bunch of people and then putting them on the list, and then you send them stuff. And I told him, and I want to tell you, it's important to know this. If you meet people at a networking event and you collect some business cards, you have no right to put them on a mailing list. You should not put them on your mailing list unless you've asked them. If I hand you a card and you say, oh, cool, we'll get together for lunch, that's great. If 2 or 3 days later I get a mass mail from you, if I'm now on your newsletter, I'm mad at you because you didn't ask me if I was going to be on a mailing list. Because here's the thing. You don't go networking to sell your stuff. You go networking to meet people. How can I connect you with somebody else? How can I connect you with a customer or with a partner of some sort? a vendor or supplier or something like that. And I'm hoping to meet people, not because I'm trying to sell them something. I'm not saying, hey, come to my workshop. I'm saying, if you know anybody who this is good for, do you know an introverted entrepreneur? Send them my way, right? I don't bring my checkbook networking. So, I'm not there to buy anything. So the thing is, if you put me on your list, you're selling me something. I don't want to be sold. I want to network with you. Right? So giving you my card, that just means let us connect as people and see if we can help each other's business. Doesn't mean put me on your list. Now, how that looks in the real world is, as far as I know, MailChimp is the only service that lets you import a list, like if you have a list in Excel or something, or you could add new subscribers by hand as you want. I don't think you can do that with Constant Contact or iResponse, GetResponse, Aweber. You actually have to have everybody come to a website, fill out a form to have them be on your list. Okay. Now, and Alex didn't do a bad thing. He's not in trouble. It's just that they don't want you to do that. And if people, when they get their email, right, they get this all of a sudden on my list, and I go, well, I didn't ask to be on the list, and I call it spam. If I report it as spam, you do not need a whole lot of those. You need 5 or 10.
Because they'll shut you down.
And they will shut you down, right? They'll shut you down. They'll send you an email. It depends on how egregious it seems. If you get 100 spams, they will shut you down, right? But they'll send you an email that says, seems like you're spamming, you're getting more than expected for the amount of mails that you send. Like if I send 1,000 and I get 50 spams, they're gonna really be mad at me, So they might just shut down your account and then they send you an email. What MailChimp does is they come at you and say, where did you get your list? They want a web address. Where did you get, where did these people sign up from? And if you tell them, oh, these are people I met at networking, they delete your list because you're not allowed to just put people up. And so that's a big deal. And I'm telling you, just so that you cover your CYA, make sure you don't get your business shut down, not your whole business, but your email marketing part of your business shut down just because you don't know that. And a way to do it is if you think you want, when I meet people, I'm going to put them on my list, just ask them when you meet them. You go, hi, I'm Toby, blah, blah. And they say, I'm Bill Jones, I'm a plumber. I go, cool, Bill, let me have your card. Cool. Maybe we'll go out to lunch or something. We'll set something up. Bill, I'm going to put you on my list. Is that cool? I'm going to send you things about my workshop or whatever. If he says yes, I'll put him on my list. If he says no, I'd rather you not, then don't put him on your list. Mark the card or something. But I think your default answer should be don't put people on your list. And here, the radio station, they haven't had a lot of people unsubscribe. Nobody's complaining about it. That's good. And they could, and it's a problem. So just be careful. That's what I'm saying today. Right? If you, I guess the piece of that is, I'm not there shopping, so putting me on my list is you selling to me, and that's not what we're looking to do. Maybe in the follow-up, maybe we have a call later, or maybe we get together and have a drink, have a lunch together, and you go, wow, yeah, it sounds like a good fit. If you are interested, I'll put you on my list. Ask me later. But man, if you just drop me on a list, I'm mad at you. Yeah, so be careful. Which leads to the other thing, which is what do you do with cards, right? What do you do with those cards after you get home? This is driving me nuts, right?
Right here.
I got a hair hanging right in my eye. The light keeps shining. I'm like, get out of my face. Right? So what do you do with cards? Yeah, well, so one, don't automatically put people on your list. You can put them in your CRM if you have some sort of a system, your customer relationship management tool of choice. That puts them in the list, and then hopefully you have your database segmented, as in networkers, or you have a segment for customers, people who've already bought from you. You have a prospects, but the people you meet networking, they're not prospects, right? They're partners, right? That's the real thing. Put them in your CRM. Get in touch with them. Make sure you follow up. I've got 4 lines written here for today's show, and one of them is in all caps, and one of them is follow up. Follow up in all caps. When you meet people networking, follow up afterwards. Make sure you get in contact with them. Remind them of the conversation. Make sure they know you remember what they do. right? Go, oh yeah, you're the plumber who does the green blah blah blah, whatever that is, and make an offer. And I don't mean sell things. Hey, can we get on the phone and chat sometime so I can find out more about what you do, or who I can send in your direction, or let's get together and do that. Always follow up. And I've said this more than once or twice. Man, if not all, maybe 80 or 90% of all of your business that you'll ever get is in the follow-up. Because people don't buy from you the first time they meet you. They don't buy from you the first time they come to your website. Very, very rarely.
Or they forget.
They do. They forget, right? Even with the best intentions, people, I'll come back to this. They don't come back to that because life happens. I'll bookmark this and come back to this. I clear up my bookmarks once every 6 months going, wow, I didn't go back to those.
I never bookmark anything.
Yeah, well, I rarely do anymore, right? Because why would you? You don't go back to them.
Mm-hmm.
So forget it, right? So get in the habit of following up with people. All your money in your business is coming from follow-up. I meet people networking, I follow up so they know what I'm looking for and I know what they're looking for. The more I can help them find clients or customers or patients or whatever it is they're looking for, the more likely they are to respond for me. Because while I always say networking is not necessarily tit for tat, some people have it that it is, the majority of people. So I'm trying to teach people to do that differently. It's not tit for tat. It's not if I give you one, you'll give me one. It's let me put you with whoever I can, as much as I can, right? So put them in your CRM, put on a reminder date to follow up, and then follow up later. Don't pitch them. Never pitch these people you're meeting networking, okay? David Durgis had started FNI, which is Free Networking International. They're still extant. They're still around. I go to a great FNI meeting every week, Wednesdays, 11:30 over at Ferg's in St. Pete. And FNI is kind of a Tampa Bay area networking group, and they have lots of other groups elsewhere, right? BNI and I don't know what else. PIN is a local one, Partners in Networking and such. But David Durgis had a program or a process that he delineated. He's got a little book called The Master Networker, something like that. But his system uses a binder, like a physical actual binder with clips, and in it are pages. They're clear plastic pages that hold business cards. And whenever he would meet people, he'd actually have the binder segmented into maybe 6 or 8, 10 categories. And when he'd meet people, the ones that he got to know, like, and trust would go into his physical binder. I have one too. And so when somebody says, hey, do you know a plumber? I can flip open my book and go to the home category and then look in there. And now I'm only ever going to have 2 of anything. Even if I say somebody's looking for a financial advisor. In my book, I've got 2. Now I know 20. I've met 100, right, in networking. But these are the 2 who showed up the most, showed up on time, who I think are nice and trustworthy people and smart and whatever. Those are the 2 who I find to be the best right now. Over time, those 2 might change. I'll take those 2 out. I'll put them in another book that I keep home. And maybe I have a couple of books. David just had like 10 or 12 books filled with cards. But the one he carried around with him was the one with currently, these are the people I recommend in all of these categories. So it's a decent system. Times have changed since he did that, and it's developed. I mean, I think he invented that or put that together maybe 3 years ago. Doesn't sound like a long time, but in internet time, it's crazy.
It's
and
ages.
So everybody has, Card Munch or Card Cam or Evernet Hello, the iPod, Bump?
Yeah.
There's that. There's all these different ways to share cards. And David kind of leaned on, but there's nothing like being able to look at the book, right? And you flip through the book, and maybe I'm looking for a plumber, but when I get to the house thing, I go plumber, and I go, oh, do you need a TV guy? Because I know one, right? It might remind you to help out with something else. Makes sense. So there's a bunch of new ways to do it, but it only works if you put people into it, right?
It sounds like that would be a good idea for like an app to have everything categorized like that.
Yeah. I don't know that anybody does that really. Evernote Hello, I think, might do categories. I don't know. Well, either we'll go invent that, or we'll talk to the people who have one of those apps and add to it, and they'll give us some royalty fees. I don't know.
Cool.
But it is a good idea because, right now, I use Card Cam is the one that I use. takes a picture of any card I put in front of it, and then it takes the info, right? Takes out the email address and their name and their phone and adds it to my contacts directly.
Yeah, that's what I use
Nice.
too. Yeah.
That's great. And, I wanted to do that. But it's a bonus that I can search very easily. If I go plumber, I can search for plumber. But there are, I don't know, I was going to say something goofy. Like there's coaches or entertainers or something, speakers. They might not actually say speaker. They might not actually say coach. They say different things about their business. They have
a different title than what's considered.
Yeah, right. They're not necessarily a plumber. They're not like a standard professional. But coach might have something like a Road to Wellness. Mm-hmm. That might be the name of their company, Road to Wellness. So it's Betty at Road to Wellness. And then later, when somebody goes, man, I really need a health coach. I'm like, oh, I know one. How do I search for her?
Right.
I don't know. I don't have categories. She doesn't say that she's a health coach necessarily, so it's a little weird. But also you lose that browsing thing that you get with a binder. I kind of like that I could look through a binder and flip through.
The tactile,
Well, yeah, it is, but it's that I'll see one thing and it reminds me of another. Mm-hmm. That's the bonus, right? So if you need one thing for your house, you probably need 4 things for your house, right. I would bet, and it just makes it easier. Or if somebody's looking over my shoulder, like I'm looking for the plumber, yeah. And I go, here's a plumber. And they're looking over something. Oh, God, I need one of these too. I need a good yard guy or whatever. So that's kind of helpful. But, again, no matter what your system is, make sure you follow up. Put people in your system and then get in touch with them, right? And even if you never here's the thing. You meet somebody. I said that a lot today. Here's the thing.
Here's the thing. It's your catchphrase.
Apparently.
I'm going to put that on your lower third.
All right, good. Yeah, just right there. Toby Martini, here's the thing. Never mind. I'm going to stop talking right now. Yeah. Now I'm completely lost from what I was going to say. Now I really will be because I said so.
We were talking about looking for plumbers.
Yeah, looking for plumbers, like that. Yeah.
If you need one thing for your house, you need 4 things.
Yeah, but I was moving on. It was the best thing ever too. So anyway, I remembered. Say you meet somebody when you're networking and you go, I don't really need that business. Like, I don't need that. That person, that's something I will never need in my life, right? Somebody who does snake tail piercing. Like, I'm cool. Like, that's a good one, right? He does reptile piercing. Like, that's crazy. I don't have reptiles. I'm not going to. I don't need it. And besides, talking to the guy, he was kind of quiet and not enthusiastic, not my type of person either. So I'm like, I don't need to keep that card. Why would I? I'm not going to call that guy ever. Yeah, you should. And follow up with him because you don't know who he knows. That's the thing of networking. This is what people forget all the time too easily. It's not that person that you're there to meet. It's to be connected to his network, right? You want to meet people so that you can meet their people. They want to meet you so they can meet your people. So remember that. If you find somebody boring or annoying or doing a thing that you're never going to do, it's okay. Get to know them, follow up. I've had a lot of good business come from people who, at first I went, not my kind of person, not my kind of business, right? But I reached out anyway, we connected, they're in my LinkedIn, I'm in their LinkedIn, and then who knows, 6 months later, all of a sudden, hey, I have a friend who needs what you do. What do you know, right? It's the magic of networking. Stop selling your stuff. All right, we're going to kick out here in just a second. I just want to remind you, network like crazy. Follow up, have a system, right, that you can follow up with. And the other bit is manage the energy you bring into every room. Make sure you lead with something good and that you're being at least positive to start, right? Not fakey, not somebody that you're not, but lead with a good, powerful, happiness vibe. Sounds goofy, but, lead with that. What's happening in Toby world? I don't know. I'm already doing a workshop over in St. Pete. Probably should start video challenge. Actually, probably not doing it. I've been putting it off because I've not been able to have a good 30 days in a row. So we're going to go with that. If you are interested at all in checking out what I am doing, that would be cool. TobyMartini.com. Outside of that, it's been lovely. I will see you in a week or so. This has been Straight Up with Toby Martini. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you want to find out more about what I'm up to, you can always find me at tobymartini.com. We'll see you next week.